In a world where sports have stretched beyond the fabric of reality and podcasts became as common as potholes, there were two guys in Morgantown, West Virginia who desired to do something different. These two guys came up with an idea to bring real life back to the arena of sports and hopefully be somewhat entertaining along the way. These two guys are certainly no experts, and they're definitely not comedians. They just think they are. This is the Extra Medium Podcast, and here are those two guys.
And here we go. Welcome, everyone. This is episode 7 of the Extra Medium Sports Podcast. How did we come up with such an unusual name? Well, it's because we are just two plus-size guys living in an extra medium world. For those who have followed the show, and we appreciate all of you, you've probably picked up on our music intros and outros throughout the first few episodes. They're rather generic, and there is a good reason for that. It's simply to say that we are not 100% sure of the level of permission needed to use the copyrighted music, and we're trying not to get sued, so we go with the generic music. But if we could today, ladies and gentlemen, we would be hearing some Eminem, some Slim Shady right about now. A little Guess Who's Back?
Back again.
Back again. Because back in studio, live and in good color, we have our own Matt Amory.
Miss y'all.
Who is back after his bout with COVID. Matt, how did that go?
That was not fun. A little bout of COVID/pneumonia in there. Thank you for the ER people at Mon General for taking good care of me. We had a little scare there. I talked to you on the phone. Evidently, you're not supposed to put your phone near your heart monitor or it will come up as you're flatlining. So I was telling Justin about what was going on, and it kind of looked like I flatlined, and everybody came and ran in, and that was not very fun. But I'm so happy to be back. Missed you all. I really missed you all.
So we are opening up the show with Matt coming back from the dead. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Justin Jackson, sports editor of the Dominion Post.
And I'm Matt Amory, former WVU lineman and state champion at Morgantown High.
Matt, great to have you back today. Glad you didn't die.
Thank you.
Also in studio today, we have Michael Griffith of the Dominion Post. We're going to talk about some major happenings in Week 6 of the high school football season. The legend. We also have a special guest lined up. We will be joined very soon by sports writing great Rich Stevens. He's a veteran of the sports writing business. He's written for both the Wheeling Intelligencer and the Charleston Daily Mail. He's kind of been through it all, covered it all, and seen it all. And he's also the manager of the West Virginia Sports Writers Association website, which we want to get into. Very, very interesting details there. But first, Matt, let's hit him up with a sponsor plug.
The Extra Medium Podcast is proudly sponsored by the Erickson Alumni Center. Whether you're interested in hosting a corporate retreat, a baby shower, or a beautiful wedding reception, we take pride in making every experience a memorable one.
We are going to go right into the heart of our first segment, and we are going to be bringing in Rich Stevens here. But, Matt, I kind of want to get you prepared a little bit for Rich.
Get me prepared, man. What do I need to know?
Rich and I go back a ways. Rich is, like we said earlier, former sports writer, Wheeling Intelligencer, and former sports writer, sports editor maybe, too, of the Charleston Daily Mail. He's kind of been through some things, seen a lot of things, and we spent some lots of times at Jamboree in the Hills.
Jamboree in the Hills. Bring back Jamboree in the Hills.
Drank some beer and listened to a little country music. And Rich is very well versed. He's also the director of the West Virginia Sports Writers Association website, and we're happy to bring him on. Rich, are you with us?
I am.
How you doing today? How's Charleston today?
Well, a little overcast. I think we're going to get some rain finally, but I don't like rain. These droughts are fine with me. It's terrible to say, I know. Probably goes against the norm, but hey, dry's good.
So, Rich, how long were you in Wheeling, and how long were you in Charleston?
I started in Wheeling part-time 88, 89.
Okay.
Came 90. So 13 years, and eventually became a sports editor and came to the Daily Mail. Was a sports writer, copy editor, and then I made it to assistant manager or assistant sports editor. And then when the two papers merged, I left and I went into teaching for almost 7 years, after which I quit because I did not like it. It was awful.
What was wrong with teaching?
Just all the bureaucracy, and especially as a special ed guy the last 3 years. The paperwork, the bureaucracy, you can't teach. It's all paperwork. They pull you out of class to have meetings They pull out a class with like 7 special ed kids to have a meeting about one of them. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a system that needs rebuilt. But anyway, I don't want to get into that.
No, we're not going to get into that.
But that's why, yeah. So I've been retired since March of 23.
So I was coming up in my mind here, Rich, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. I was coming up with like a list of things, sort of like, you're a West Virginia sports writer, and then fill in the blank. And some of the things I came up with, one of the things was, there was always like some kind of interaction with the greats Mickey Fafari and Jack Bogacek. Like everyone had some kind of association with those two guys. You worked hand in hand with Jack. What was that like?
Jack was amazing. And I've told Doug this. I've told every boss I've had this, and they all understand. Jack Bogacek is best boss I've ever had. It's not close. Gave me a lot of freedom. Gave me a lot of leg room to write what I wanted because he trusted me. And I did a story. Somebody did a story on me when I started the website back in 19, and I said that there was a handful of bosses, 2 or 3 bosses that had a really major impact, and Jack had the biggest impact. And he actually called me a day after it appeared and thanked me and said that he always appreciated me because I was such a hard worker. Anybody that knows me, I'm a little headstrong.
No, not you. No.
Well, it's not much of a filter, okay? But I was, and obviously there are some things I wouldn't do again in that regard. But I like the fact that Jack overlooked that and appreciated my work ethic and my effort and my willingness to make sure I get the facts right. And that's what journalism's all about: get the facts right.
Some of the other things I came up with on my list was every sports writer at one time or another has gotten a speeding ticket in Summersville.
Well, I've been to Summersville, but believe it or not, I've never gotten a speeding ticket.
You've never gotten a speeding ticket in Summersville?
Well, if there's anybody on here listening that's from the Northern Panhandle and traveled between Wheeling and Moundsville or Glendale, they get it. Because the Summersville police traps are nothing compared to the ones in between. Because there's a stretch of road called the Narrows between McMecken and Glendale. Now,
okay.
Glendale cops, they'll get you 2 miles per hour of the speed limit. McMecken, same thing.
You don't mess around with those McBoys.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I grew up with that stuff, man. So when I go to towns where even if there's a hint, I'm talking 35 miles per hour cruise control, man.
You can sense a trap from a mile away.
Well, I've had 3 or 4 tickets. I don't have any points on my license, but I've had 3 or 4 tickets in my life.
Well, you don't have a license, probably.
No, but I don't. But Summersville. That's crazy because I've been to the state softball tournament when it was at Nicholas County Park,
mm-hmm.
And so I've been there. I've never had an adverse experience with law enforcement.
The other thing I came up with, and Matt will appreciate this because we actually talked about this a few weeks ago. Every West Virginia sports writer, one time or another, has parked their car over at the Gentlemen's Club at Laidley, and got tempted not to go cover the game in Laidley.
Wheeling Island Stadium.
Yes, Wheeling Island. Sorry, not Laidley. Yeah,
that's okay. Well, here's the thing, and I've said this for years, and I don't know if I came up with it, but I think it's funny. I always consider Wheeling Island, like the state football championships, the Bermuda Triangle for sports writers, because you got a football stadium, you got a casino, and you got a strip joint that form a triangle, and it's very easy for a sports writer to get lost in there.
Well, yeah, you can get a little confused, right? I mean, it doesn't take much.
When I went to Wheeling cover or quote cover, or just go to Wheeling cover Saturday game, and I was just there for the AA game, I typically didn't make it at halftime. Because if you walk to a casino,
you got busy, right?
Yeah. The strip club, I wasn't as big of a thing, believe it or not. I'm not lying. But going to the casino, just walking across there and being able to look at your watch, and you have 5 minutes if you happen to be going for a game. You look a couple hundred steps away. Yeah. So it's like, I'm good. So it's perfect. For sports writers, heaven, put it that way.
Rich, there's a couple of things I wanted to get talk to you about here a little bit. First off, the West Virginia Sports Writers Association website. How long have you been associated with that? I mean, that's your baby, right?
Yeah, Doug Huff had brought that up for, I don't know, a good 10 years, and I finally, nobody took the ball, and I didn't think much of it. And at one point, I was just said, I'll do it. And it's kind of funny. It was at a business meeting some years ago. And I'm sitting in the meeting and said, I'll do it. And then not a minute later, I'm like, what did I just do?
Mm-hmm.
What you wish for. It's been, doing live stuff on there and stuff is difficult. But what we have on there are state high school basketball records, football records. That's the stuff I don't think you can find. I know you can't find a lot of this stuff on other websites.
Right. Matt's been diving into it.
It's the first one with a few names that were missing because you couldn't find them. I'm sorry, Justin. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying Matt's been diving into it.
I love the site. For our listeners, the website is www.wvswa.org. For example, these stats, like you said, it's very hard to find this stuff. And when I do find it, it's blurred out. And you got to pay this, got to pay that. Don't have that in the bank. For example, I wanted to look at some scoring champions from previous years. I went to year 2000. My boy Mark Waggle, shout out to Mark Waggle, found it just easy as pie. I love this site. I love what you have there. And just do you see this website as just like a research tool or a storytelling platform or a little bit of both? And, it's been around for a while. I think this is wonderful. This is like a great kept secret to me. So I'm so happy to...
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. I'm disappointed that it hasn't gained more traction. But again, that's also partly on me because I'm not a kind of marketing guy, and I'm doing all stuff with the numbers, and I'm not. And again, this is just to give you a little bit of background because I don't want to sound like I'm, being a martyr or anything. But if you see all those names on there, about names, any word on the website, I would say minimum, 80% was typed by hand.
That's awesome.
Now that means either typing the names or copy and pasting them and then converting them to an Excel platform or something like that to make them work well with the website program. And I'm paying for it now because I have arthritis and, trigger finger on my left ring finger. But to be honest with you, it's worth it because it's something that I am very proud of. And I feel like, and I've always been a great advocate for the association, and I think it's a great resource for folks.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard anyone talk Excel 5 form on any type of sports writing.
Well, it does PDFs. They go in there for a larger platform, for larger pieces. It has to go in like something other than just copy and pasted. So that's where the PDF and the Excel comes in.
Well,
so it's a hassle, dude. I'm not going to lie, but kind of a nice feeling to know that it's available. And I look at Google Analytics and I see stuff like people over in India or people over in other countries are looking at the website. And that's pretty cool. And I haven't taken on the challenge to find out what association somebody from the Middle East has with the West Virginia Sports Writers Association. But I can't lie. I'm interested.
There's your next story.
Yeah.
I was actually on there today because I just wanted to double check our own Matt Amory.
Whoa,
is listed on there.
Me?
2000 All-State first team offensive lineman, Matt Amory.
I'm flexing my muscles right now, but they're doing like this thing where it goes the wrong way, like Bugs Bunny. You flex, muscle goes the opposite way.
Of course,
Yeah.
I went back and looked.
Not really because of sports. So
I went back and looked at the '98 team, Rich. That's a loaded team.
Oh yeah.
Well, I did a just for my own fun. Like during my lifetime, I was born in '66. There's never been a better decade of high school football in West Virginia than the '90s. I mean, you can dispute it because I don't know what happened between the '60s or most of the '70s for that matter, but. it's just impressive how many great players came out of that era. J.R. House, of course, and the Nitro crew and that stuff, and of course the Morgantown kids and et cetera, et cetera. So it's been it's a great decade, man.
Now,
Good year to look at, Justin.
I'm glad you mentioned the Nitro boys.
I kind of should. Did you see that in my eyes when I got? I think I was a little PTSD when you mentioned my boy J.R. House there.
Rich, there's a story, and I talked to you about this a couple of years ago. I'm going to refresh your memory here. There is a legend.
No.
There is a sort of a legend here in the Morgantown area.
A legion
From the 1998 Class AAA state championship game. And Matt, obviously, you were a sophomore for that game?
I was a sophomore. Started sophomore at nose guard.
He was chasing down JR.
You didn't start this rumor, did you?
He was chasing down JR House. Did not do a very good job that day, obviously.
I'm still out of breath from chasing him.
But Matt can confirm there was a very much a thought process from the Morgantown High people, and Rich can shed some light on this story. That anyway, the story was that J.R. House played that day with a hoodie on, even though it was 60 degrees outside. Had a hoodie on under his helmet. The theory is that he played with some kind of like radio contact from the sidelines or from the press box, telling him where to throw the ball at that day. Matt, you want to shed some light on that?
All I remember is, boy, we rushed and we rushed. We were getting darted, you name it. I believe he broke a national record against us. And you know, one play we're running a screenplay. I have JR to myself. I'm like, we might lose, but I'm leaving with this guy's spine. And he did this no-look pass, and I like stumbled and fell down like a 300-pound oaf. It made me look silly. I mean, it was a no-look pass. I've never seen anything like it since Mahomes. And those rumors came up like, hey, there might have been something going on with a earpiece or... Have you heard anything about that?
So, yeah, I actually talked about this maybe a couple of years ago or maybe during COVID with Rich. Rich, you can shed some light on this because you've actually talked to the Nitro coach, right?
It's kind of funny. Well, back then, Scott Tinsley was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay, and Little Brett was head coach. Nobody knew it because it was more, all intents and purposes, it was Scott's team. Well, Justin calls me and says, I want to clear up a rumor. Let me ask you this. And he asked me about the headset and the hoodie thing. And he said, I got off the phone with Justin, and I called Scott like 5 minutes later, and he answered, and I asked him, and he says, and he kind of laughed a little bit. He said, oh, no. Now, I will say this. There is a picture floating around where he has that thing on without a helmet, and those things are pretty tight. So, I've looked. I've not seen any protrusions from the ears, which you would expect to hear. And you got to understand something, Matt. That offense. I mean, J.R. was a 3-time first-team All-State quarterback.
Yes, sir.
He was This kid had 3 years with Scott Tinsley's system. If there's some question about a no-look pass, I think that explains it more than where somebody is. I can't imagine a coach calling out on somebody's headset and saying left 10 yards, 11 yards while somebody's chasing.
Exactly.
It makes it's illogical.
I would have done it.
One thing about Scott, though, and I'll say this about Scott, and people may not believe me. I've known Scott for a long time. One thing I've always appreciated about him, he's like me, no filter and doesn't lie. Okay? If I called him and asked him if that was true, oh, yeah, it's possible he might say, off the record, yes, dude, just don't, Tony.
Right.
He's done that. Not with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Serious, but other smaller things. So, yeah, that's I don't want to be blunt. That's bunk. That's funny.
So we have, that's breaking news.
Breaking
right?
news. We have debunked a myth here.
Well,
it doesn't make it hurt any less.
I understand. But here, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck.
No, not at all. Not at all, my friend.
With situations like this, if you're going to assume something like that, look into it a little more and think about the logic. There's no logic.
Well, exactly.
Rich, you know me. Do you think I've ever dealt with logic?
True. You cover W right now. There's nothing logical about that.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Hey, Richard, I also want to just talk about state. The thing that fascinates me the most with the website are the state records. What? This is the question I wanted to ask. What state records do you think will never be broken? What stands out in your mind there?
This from Matt: 10 touchdowns in a state championship.
Glad to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Hey,
well said. Well said.
Can House's records be touched, do you think?
State records? Well, not state records, maybe not. The Nitro the regular season touchdown record was broken last year by Josh Moody. But that's only regular season. So let me see, what else? Maybe the Paul McCoy from Maitland, his single game rushing.
That's like what, 750 or something like that in one game?
I don't honestly.
750.
I don't even remember. I'm trying to get up the same memory ability as Doug Huff, but I'm sure if that'll happen. But
you rush for 750 yards in one game, you should just quit after the game, right? I mean, that's it.
Well, it wasn't much, but it's pretty high. You see, there's one for blocked punts in a career. It's like 8.
Is that the
really an obscure record, huh?
Is that Spencer or is that?
I don't remember, but there's one.
8.
I don't have the website in front of me.
It was like what was
blocked, the punts blocked or something.
In a single game, it was like 4, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a career.
Oh, okay.
I think he holds the single game record too. But it's some ridiculous, obscure. I mean, how can somebody block that many punts during a season or a career and you not figure out how to block that guy?
Yeah.
Like somebody else. That's like saying we can beat Jordan. We'll just let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
When you putting those records together, do you go down a rabbit hole at all? Do you kind of sense that a little bit?
Well, it's kind of interesting you ask because Doug Huff provides those because he keeps track of them. We're going to have to take that over now. But what I have done is some of the records that he doesn't have, it's like not available. And honestly, it's been 3 or 4 years. I can't remember. I actually found a couple of those that Doug couldn't find.
Mm-hmm.
So I updated that. But there's still a lot in there that needs some updating. So, yes, I have gone down the rabbit hole. Mostly after the fact, because Doug has done most of the legwork on those.
So when people call in and say, "Hey, my kid's name should be in the record book," we can just give them your phone number, right?
Well, it might become that because what happens, they'll try to go through, and Doug doesn't mess around. Okay, and that's kind of where I, cut my teeth. So if somebody calls you, like I had somebody call me, a parent of a player. I'm not going to say who.
Sure.
Probably. But his grandmother sent me a message, actually, on Sports Writers Association Messenger and said, these kids don't get the recognition if they're not updated on your awards list. I'm like, really? I mean, that's something Justin and I have dealt with for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
People saying that a list and now, granted, our all-state lists are beyond reproach. They're as close as any postseason All-Star game could ever be for West Virginia. And I won't debate that. It's non-negotiable. But here's the thing. They have nothing to do with a kid getting recruited. They have nothing to do with how much scholarship money a kid gets. Nothing.
Absolutely.
That drives me crazy because parents, grandparents can't see the forest for the trees. But I try to be polite.
Sure.
Terribly common of me. And I just kind of be nice, and I actually held off my response because I was like, because parents just don't get it.
Yeah.
But I was nice, and I just said, I'm the only one doing the website. Not a priority at this moment. I did that. I can't lie. That was kind of a dig at that person because it kind of is a priority, but it's wrong to say, you're not going to dictate when I do things, especially when I'm doing it myself and I'm not getting paid. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Richard, we got one more.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Hey, we got one more Sports Writers Heritage question for you.
Okay. Hey, so speaking of all these records, I'm hearing rumors the basketball state tournament. There's this place called Joey's. Do you know anything about that? And are there any records? Is there any records you could share with us about these Joey's?
Well, here's the thing. Joey's was about 2 blocks away from the Civic Center.
Okay.
Blocking it. And it was just around the corner from the Fifth Quarter Steakhouse. It used to be right next door where the...
I remember Fifth Quarter.
Temple.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was some good eating in the fifth quarter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's very expensive. But now, I'm not giving too much away, but state I used to love when I lived in the Wheeling Cover State Tournament. I'd come down, and this is back in the old days, old-time sports writers. We'd all cover the game. We all got on deadline. We all go out and drink, close down the bar, go home, do it all again the next day. Obviously, those times have changed.
Yeah.
But I feel, I'm kind of disappointed by that because that's when you got the real camaraderie. You don't have time to generalize and converse while you're covering the game. So anyway, that's where we would go. Well, they would always close early. They'd do last call at like 1 or 1:30, which last call I think was 2 statewide. So we left there, and we usually just had to go home. But every year there was a coach, 2 coaches in the Ohio Valley from the same region, and I would hang out. Whichever one didn't win that region, I would hang out with them at Joey's that night. And then one year, this is kind of funny. Funny to me, maybe not to anybody else, but then one year when they changed the regions around and they were separated, I hung out with both of them at the state tournament after the first night. So, and those are really good memories and really good friends of mine. We're not talking drunks, just having a couple of beers and having some of those awesome cheese balls they had.
Oh, they had the best. Oh, absolutely. Anything fried from Joey's was good.
Ah, great. I'm hungry now.
Oh, yeah, and I weigh 100 pounds more now because of it, but it was worth every minute. But they used to throw us out early, and they were very aggressive. They're like, okay, that's it. It wasn't even like...
Just all of a sudden?
And then they burned, and then they didn't reopen.
That's what I was going to ask you. It burnt down, and they didn't reopen, right?
Yeah, it didn't really burn down. I think structurally it was fine, but it sat there vacant for years. And then one of these little limited lottery locations went in there, and they lasted a couple of years. And I guess there was a water break or something, and then they never reopened. So it's been empty since. I'm not sure if they've torn it down yet. Of course, I'm only like 2 minutes away, and I should know.
It was a sad day when Joey's closed.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I mean the service was limited. I'm not going to get. I mean, the food was great. It was great hanging out, but service wasn't that great. But I don't think we cared at the time.
Sounds like wonderful times. What I would do to be a fly on the wall for one of those.
Oh, there were some meetings of the minds going on and Joey's back in the day. Rich, there's one last question I have on my notes here. I wanted to kind of get your thought. Obviously, with the West Virginia High School starting this year with the NIL opportunities, the rule got passed by the State Board of Education, I'm guessing, and the SSAC. West Virginia high school athletes are now eligible to receive NIL under certain under certain elements. Is this something that is right, wrong? Is it time for it, or is this going to get out of hand? What are your thoughts with the NIL for high school kids?
There's never time for it, and I think most people's focus is on this high school player, that high school player. Keep in mind, this starts in 6th grade, okay?
Right.
Now, what are the odds of a kid being at a high school with a good, even without a good NIL package, or a business in West Virginia is going to be willing to pour out all kinds of money just to get him to go to another high school? There's no return in that, okay? There's no return in that for the money you spent as a business owner, as a businessman, even if you're independently wealthy. What are you going to get out of that? Okay, unless the kid's going to be a big-time star, you can lock into him to an agent or whatever.
Sure.
Well, 6th grade's different because now we got a 5th grader from this little elementary school who's pretty good. He has not gone anywhere yet. He's an open book. If you get him to transfer once, he can't transfer. He has to sit out there in 65 days. That's my concern. The middle school situation concerns me 10 times more than the high school. If you remember, and I know they came up with W Trust to try to pay athletes NIL money. Is that correct, Justin?
with the college kids, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well. Here, I mean, it's been like Parmar. Don't get me wrong. I love Parmar and all that, but that's not where the money is. People aren't, and Parmar's not going to spend money to get a kid to go from one high school to another unless he pays off dividends. And not to dig any deeper into this, most of the NFL players from West Virginia, and that's where the money is, are linemen. How marketable are linemen?
Well, if you got a good barbecue joint in town, right?
Yeah, that's right. But that's the thing, though, Justin. I mean, and again, this goes back to the transfers. This goes back to the regionals. This goes back to the football. This goes back to everything. Every SSAC members, Bernie Dolan, Gary Ray, on down the line, they all said, well, this state does it this way. Well, West Virginia is not like any other state. You have 4 classes. Now you have fewer 4A teams, have to travel a lot farther.
Sure.
Children are gapped. It's again, illogical. And it's impractical to think that any of this NIL thing is a good idea. They didn't really have a choice. It was coming.
Well, no, it's coming. My thought is my original thought is the NIL opportunities are going to be few and far between. I hope I'm right about this. I'm thinking a kid like Jared Williams, Randy Moss, J.R. House, the super big names around the state could have taken advantage of NIL opportunities as a high school athlete. I'm hoping that it kind of stays in that arena as opposed to it turning into a recruiting type of tool.
It won't. Not in high school, it won't. I'd bank on that. The only problem you might have is an Eastern Panhandle. Because the booming, because they're so close to D.C. and all that. I mean,
right.
That's the Eastern Panhandle is the only true metro area of West Virginia. Only true what, right?
Right. So, no, I would agree, yeah.
But because it's not a suburb of D.C., but it is a suburb of D.C. And you got people living in West Virginia and working in D.C. because of tax, whatever. But up there's talent galore because they're near D.C. They're near Baltimore. They're near so many areas with so much incredible talent. I could see somebody, a business up there, putting in the money to send a kid to a high school because they're like, this kid's going to be an NFL star. I'm gonna attach my horse to this wagon. Well, that's the only place that might be an issue. I can't see it anywhere else.
Rich is fired up today.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, I mean, if you look, but I'm on. Yeah,
and valid points.
Are they exactly blessed? Even the Northern Panhandle, you got Eastern Ohio, you got Western PA. None of these Western PA kids come to West Virginia to play football, and neither are the ones from Eastern Ohio here or there. Right? Nobody's significant. So anybody that would be good enough to that level, like Western PA, they're not coming to West Virginia. Now, if there's a kid in D.C. who could go to a Martinsburg and play for Dave Walker, which I'm sure has probably happened long before NIL.
Yeah.
And I'm not begrudging Dave or the program.
Sure.
Great fit. But if you have the ability to do that with a 4-star athlete, even 3.5 or a 3-star athlete, then you'll do it. You're not going to do it for a 2-star from Cabell Midland. No offense to Cabell Midland or anybody. Same with Bluefield. Same with other border schools. Wheeling Park. Even Morgantown. It's not like kids from Pittsburgh are coming to Morgantown.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So
you're saying Huntington doesn't get anything from Kentucky?
Nah. Really?
There's Kentucky. I don't know. There's good kids there in Kentucky, aren't there?
I didn't say they were good kids. Hey, don't be trying to pin me down, Jackson.
Nah, I'm just checking your geography.
No, I do appreciate it. Yeah, but I mean, we even see it with the Williamstowns and all that. They're successful Hamas. They succeed through players from other states with a major benefit from other states. But these aren't 4-star athletes. These kids who can win championships in West Virginia. It's a different animal. It's not an animal worth spending money on.
Rich, what's your thoughts on the Kennedy Award this year? Who's your favorite so far?
I would, let's see, who won it last year? I can't even remember. Isn't that awful? I figured the white kid from Wheeling Park's got to see, and here's the thing. The funny thing about Brent Wack from Wheeling Park won the
Kurt Warner Award. Yep.
Yeah, he. What? To be quite honest, what Chris Dawkins has done was pretty amazing because he lost to Johnson. Johnson's son, the former Kennedy Award winner, he transferred out, and then their quarterback transferred out. And now they have that who replaced him, who won Warner last year, and could very well be front runner this year. Impressive job. But considering coming back from last year, having one more, running back with pretty Kennedy favorite typically. I would say the Wack kid is probably the favorite. But that's going mostly on last year and what he's done this year. Hey, can I give a quick shout out here?
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what we're here for.
Of course you can, man.
There's a kid, Wheeling Park. I gotta make sure. Or not Wheeling Park. John Marshall, their biggest rival, and it's always bothered me because I always thought John Marshall's sports culture is not good. Okay, but they have Mark Caesar. Remember Mark Caesar?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was from Magnolia.
Yeah. Well, of course, his connection, right?
Well, his connection was his dad, right?
How he and Moss and
well, he beat Randy Moss for the Kennedy. Yeah.
Yes. Some speculation about maybe it shouldn't, but that's all. I don't want to talk about that so much. It is what it is. But Mark's the coach here now. And I think they're 3-1, 3-2, and they have a running back. I'm embarrassed. I can't remember the kid's name. I think he's a sophomore. He's really good. Let me see. Let me find it. Dalton Cooper. As a fresh, he's 6 foot, 210 poundish. At least that's what they list him.
Not bad. Where's he at? Where's this at now?
John Marshall.
Oh, John Marshall. Okay, all right.
This kid is actually a Moundsville Junior High kid, so he's not a transfer. He ran like a sub 1100 as a freshman.
Flying.
That's not bad.
Yes, as a freshman. So yeah, I think he's not a Kennedy candidate. Don't get me wrong, but for what Mark has done with that program, they're playing teams that they can compete against, trying to get a winning culture. He's doing it right. It's been a while since they've been very good. God rest his soul. Mike Linsky won state title there in '96 with against Capital.
Right.
But they may be coming back, and it doesn't hurt that I believe they're AAA, and we have 4 classes. So you can say it's watered down because it is, but
Do you like the 4 classes or not?
I do not, and I'll tell you exactly why. And it's all very explainable. Like I said earlier, the gas mileage. I mean, in football, play a school smaller than you, it doesn't benefit you. But with 4 classes now, all of a sudden, some of these schools, the closest schools to them, are smaller schools. So now they have to pour out gas, take 3-hour trips on school nights. It's not good. It's not good for education. It's not good for sports. It's not good for anything about this. Also, it waters down the competition, which for the traditionalists, that's awful. For parents and fans of schools in the state, it's wonderful. Only problem is, you remember the old competitive balance formula?
Yeah.
With all due respect to all Class A schools, Class A is now the leftovers of that. Because now we, thankfully, after 6 or 4 or 5 grueling years, we went back to enrollment only. And now you have, like, Class A schools are back in Class A. Fortunately, in basketball, Charleston Catholic, Wheeling Central opted to play up. But now in single A, you have back to what we had before. And it's nothing, because Tug Valley, they got that kid from Kentucky, that point guard. They're about the only team in I think, the top 2 classes that can compete with Wheeling Central. But Class A is basically just Tug Valley and Tucker County.
Mm-hmm.
There's no competition in single A anymore. Now, for everything that the small rural schools wanted, fair, competitive balance, yada, 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 we're not even 6 years later, and everything they tried to do got destroyed. So now they're in worse shape than they were, well, at least as bad a shape as they were before. And I don't think they ever should have went away from enrollment anyway, but it's just kind of funny. I guess it goes along the lines of be careful what you wish for. Because they wanted this competitive balance formula blew up in their face, and now it's where we are. We're back to enrollment. You guys are on the crappy end of the stick again.
He tells it like it is.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
They can look at. People can argue with me. I don't care, and I could be wrong.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you right now. But,
I appreciate civil discourse, but I mean, it is what it is. Just look at the facts.
Rich, I think that's all we got for you.
I got one for
you.
you.
Oh, Matt's got one.
Rich, I got one for you. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on here. Again, for our listeners, www.wvswa.org. Check out that site. But I have a question. If you could sit down with one West Virginia sport legend, player, non-player, past or present, who would it be and why? I'd love to. They'll put you on the spot here.
No. Ask Justin. I do not avoid this kind of thing. Probably, but you're going to be surprised with this. One of two. Randy Moss, Rob.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, Randy doesn't talk to me. He doesn't talk to West Virginia to me. He's always been very uncomfortable because he always thought we were against him, which was obviously never true. And there's a lot of things to ask that guy about. We talk about the incident with the traffic cop in Minnesota. We can talk about the situation at DuPont, Notre Dame, Florida State, how Bob Pruitt got him to go to Marshall. There's a million things you can ask him that nobody ever had the opportunity to sit down and talk. Now, I would turn down the interview if he didn't answer those questions and then find somebody else. But the other one was, this is terrible. I'm so ashamed of myself not remembering. He's Zontini, John Zontini, Sherman High School.
Oh, boy.
Now, yeah. The reason I tell you this, the reason it's John Zontini, I think it's John or Seth. There was three brothers. Back then, they had high school players like 20, 21, 22 years old, okay? But he was one of them. Well, he made the Sports Hall of Fame. He is a Sherman legend. Of course, back then in the newspapers, they called him Seth because that's what it was. But here's the thing. This guy flew missions in World War II, World War I. See, I'm losing track of time. But the guy was an absolute war hero. Okay, so that goes a little outside the realm of the athletic and goes into something a little deeper. And he's gotten criticism for his age and being in the Hall of Fame and being but you know what? That trumps everything, dude.
Exactly, I agree.
Like, come on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this one, my brother Rich.
Google John Zontini. This guy, and he had, like I said, he had two brothers. So they were all great athletes. This guy's story is pretty amazing. I mean, now you go through all the biographies of Hall of Fame members and find some impressive stuff, but you dig a little deeper, man. That kind of stuff just kind of sounds weird, but it touches me. It's kind of cool,
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Rich Stevens from the West Virginia Sports Writers Association. Rich, we appreciate the knowledge, and thanks for joining us today.
You're my boy, Blue. Hey, Justin.
My boy, Blue.
My boy.
You're my boy, Blue.
When will this be broadcast?
We're going to come out every Thursday, brother.
Thursday, 9 a.m.
Nice. Very good. I'm going to make sure everybody knows so that my friends will know not to listen.
And we can put you down as a friend of the show, right?
Yeah, you a friend of the show?
Absolutely. All day.
Yes.
I'm a friend of yours. So any friend of yours, the show, Matt, is a friend of mine.
It goes vice versa. I got your back.
All right.
Friends for life.
Rich, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us this week, man. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Hey, just in case you were wondering where to find the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, here's that info.
You can always find a link to the Extra Medium podcast at www.dominionpost.com or find us on social media at Spotify and YouTube.
And while we have the time, Matt, why don't we give a little shout out to the sponsor there?
A big shout out to our sponsor, the Ergeson Alumni Center. Provide your guests with an elegant experience utilizing our state-of-the-art conference technology and catering from our in-house executive chef.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's back by popular demand since Matt is back with us here this week.
Guess who's
our
back?
Favorite segment, it's called What Caught Matt's Eye.
Matt's eye, let us know what is caught Matt's eye.
Matt's eye, Matt's eye. Hey, I might do an album with Eminem. We can do our own music.
No, please don't.
Here we go. What caught Matt's eye? Jaron Kevahe Singapolatele.
Say that again.
We're going to say JKS from here on out. Who is that, you might add?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that is a freshman quarterback at Cal, who's 6'3", 225 pounds. He's got about 1,500 passing yards this season. However, what caught Matt's eye also caught the eye of Pat McAfee, who mentioned, this guy is an awesome player, could be great, love to see him. He didn't say this in the exact words, I'm not quoting him, but it almost seems like he was saying it'd be great to see this guy in a different kind of gold and blue, being with West Virginia University. And Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, who was a head coach and now the general manager at Cal, caught wind of this, and he said, "Not so fast, my friend." Cal's wondering, can they contain him? Ron Rivera saying we've got local sponsorship, blah, 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 blah. But this is where we're at in college football. And I kind of like this for West Virginia. I mean, to put the fear in Ron Rivera's heart that we could potentially get someone, and I like this Cal quarterback that I think Pat McAfee supports, who definitely has deep pockets, NIL contributor. And if we could get him, that'd be wonderful. Ron Rivera saying, hold up, not so fast. We're not doing this. What do you think about that?
I'm wondering if they could fit his name on a jersey.
It only took me 15 takes to get that, by the way.
Right.
But let me move on to the next one. And this is a wild story going on. I kind of want to take it from a different angle, but what's going on with Mark Sanchez?
Oh, goodness, yeah.
And the stabbing and whatnot and the violence. And I need to take my own advice on this, but just listeners, be careful out there. This is the world we live in, and you got to be careful. You don't know what could happen, what's on the line. So
my wife is a huge Jets fan, and so she's the one that actually brought this story up to me, and it was so odd that he's the guy that got stabbed, and
you originally hear the story,
and then he's the one that gets arrested.
Yeah. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I assumed Mark Sanchez was the victim. Just be careful out there. Be careful out there, and speedy recovery for both of them. Hopefully it gets sorted out. But I just wanted to take a chance to give the message. Be careful, listeners, and watch your back.
And we are going to move right along now. We're going to talk some high school football with we're going to try to maybe extend this a little bit because we had a big week 6 in high school football right here, especially in our local area. And we're going to bring in Michael Griffith here of the Dominion Post to talk with us now. Last week, number 1, Morgantown High, big win over Wheeling Park. 28-7, Michael?
Yes. Yep.
That was the all-injury bowl, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Go over some other scores here real quick. University High traveled up to Butler, Pennsylvania, in a suburb there of northern Pittsburgh, and turned the ball over 4 times, and they lose 35-27. Number 8, Woodrow Wilson traveled to Kingwood and held off number 16, Preston High, 45-34. Got a little story about that one too. And then the big statement game, Michael was there. Clay Battelle, number 8 in Class Single A, knocked off number 5, Meadowbridge, 54-12 in Blacksville. Just to kind of start things off, Mike, I wanted to let's go with Morgantown High real quick. The all-injury bowl, and what we mean by that is that Morgantown High had their starting running back, Isaiah Thompson, was out for the game. Starting quarterback Maddox Twig played, but was not his normal self. And obviously for Wheeling Park, Brennan Wack, who might be the front runner for the Kennedy, obviously sat out that game with a hamstring injury. What do you take from the game?
Well, I think that Brennan Wack is very important to Wheeling Park.
Yeah.
And also I think Morgantown has options. That's something we talked about early on when we started this podcast, was that they had a quarterback equipped with weapons that could do some things. And, Isaiah Thompson goes out after 2 huge weeks. I mean, he had probably the 2 best games of his high school career the last 2 weeks for Morgantown, and rushing for over 100, I think, in both games maybe. But then here comes Zayden Lockett in the backfield, and they gave him the ball, 14, 15 times, I think, and he scored 1 touchdown and ran the ball really well. So yeah, I took a little bit away from both teams. The Morgantown defense continues to play very, very well. I think they've only given up, I don't know, maybe less than 40 points this year. Probably only averaging 7 to 10 points giving up a game. So if they can continue that and their offense can continue to score like they are, it's going to be hard to beat them.
I want to get a little bit more to the Morgantown High game and obviously the Clay Battelle game here in a second, but I got to tell you this story.
Yeah.
From the Preston High game against Woodrow Wilson. This one belongs to Mark Schraff, who is one of our stringers, who kind of goes out and covers some outside competition kind of stuff for us. Michael obviously knows Mark very well. So Mark is driving to Kingwood on Friday night, and he's going to cover that Woodrow Wilson Preston game. So he gets, I'm not sure what part of Preston County he's at, but he's on his way into Kingwood, and apparently there's a car accident. Well, it turns out it wasn't a car accident. Apparently a car had caught on fire, so traffic had stopped, backed up. It wasn't moving. So he's keeping in contact. Should I turn around? I said, well, just wait it out. But I don't know how many times you see a car on fire.
Yeah, I mean that's
rolling through downtown Kingwood. So traffic is backed up. It's stopped. It's not moving. So he shuts his car off. Now I'm not sure what kind of car he has, but when traffic starts to move, he tries to start his car up and it doesn't start.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So now he's backing up traffic. Well, like I said, I don't know much about cars, and I don't know what kind of car he's got. He tried to explain it to me. It's some kind of battery, but it wasn't like the big main battery when you think of a car. He walks 3 miles to the Walmart in Kingwood and buys what he needs. Walks 3 miles back. Now, this is dedication.
That's for the love of the game.
Walks 3 miles back to his car and puts it in. It doesn't start for a while, and then he kind of gives it some time. It eventually starts up. Well, by this time, of course, the game's already pretty much over, so he kind of comes home. But it was, to walk 6 miles.
Oh, man, I'm done.
Yeah,
and to have the ability to put the mechanism in there to get it to work.
Well, and
I'm not thinking straight after 1 mile, brother.
That's not a flat drive either. I mean, there's a lot of up and down
Great
on that
point.
drive. Even going up to the Walmart right there, that's a pretty little
That's
incline
uphill both
right
ways.
Oh, yeah.
That's uphill both ways.
So that was why, if people were wondering why we didn't really have any information in from the game, that's kind of a little background on the the odyssey that Mark Schraff went through that night.
Yeah.
Obviously, University High goes up to Butler, Pennsylvania. We'll talk about some other high school action here. Turn the ball over 4 times and lose 35-27. That was a game they probably shouldn't have lost, right, Michael?
Yeah, and this is the second straight loss where they kind of got in their own way a little bit. They're winning. They were winning against Wheeling Park and had a bunch of penalties, had a turnover late, and then let Whack kind of get loose and lost the game late. Kind of the same thing in this one, just some mistakes. And I guess this is kind of what you're going to get with the young team. I mean, there's still, like we said, a lot of young guys, not a huge senior class. Most of the people with the ball in their hands during a game for them are younger guys. So, some growing pains, I guess you could probably say, when it comes to University High. But, with the young talent also comes, some high IQ, I think. So I think they'll learn from the mistakes and come out.
You think they got a playoff run in them?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the Hawks will be at home the first round of the playoffs. Still, they have a pretty favorable schedule going forward. They'll play Connellsville this week for homecoming. They do have Spring Mills, I believe, but they'll play Preston. They'll play some other teams that they should definitely get a win over. So
And then
the Mohawk Bowl.
okay, that's all the time we got for the Mohawk Bowl this week.
Wait, what do you mean? We're just starting.
No,
I got 2 hours of notes for the Mohawk Bowl.
Too early for the Mohawk Bowl.
Okay.
And
fine.
then the statement game, Michael. I'm really interested on your thoughts. Clay Battelle, ranked number 8, hosting number 5 Meadow Bridge. We're thinking, tough, close game, both running teams, both physical kind of teams, and bam, it ends up being 54-12. What can we make of Clay Battelle? Are they a legitimate Class A contender right now?
Yeah, they just put the whole class on notice, in my opinion. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, that was just an incredible performance all around. They just continued to get better every single week since that first week, losing to Cameron. I mean, just what can you say about these guys? In my opinion, if we gave out a midseason Coach of the Year in the state of West Virginia, regardless of class, I would give it to Aaron LePeau at Clay Battelle right now. Because
you give him a helmet sticker?
I'm giving him a helmet sticker. I'm going to give him a trophy. I'm going to put a button on his shirt, whatever he wants as far as his award. But, I mean, just the job that guy's doing, from last year, going four wins, I think, last year, and then just to this year, they're 4-1.
Yeah, they already got it.
I mean, they have the last 4 games at home. They'll have a pretty winnable game this week on the road at Richwood. So those Seabees, they're looking at 2 playoff games in
Do not
Blacksville.
sleep on the Seabees,
Not at
baby.
all, man. They're just getting it done every which way on the football field, all 3 phases of the game. Looking great.
Clay Battelle, they've transformed their offense to where I think they were sort of starting at the beginning of the year trying to go with a balanced type of look between the run and the pass. And now with Corey Cohen being more of a running quarterback, they've kind of turned into this power running team, and it certainly has changed the outlook of their offense.
It has, but the options, they still do really well at choosing when to go to pass or when to throw, when to do whatever. And Cohen moving, I mean, I think most of the passes that he threw, he was rolling out to his left or his right, and it was designed that way too, which really kind of puts the emphasis on him being able to move a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he ran for. Let me see here. I have it down.
Why are you looking that up? When you have a quarterback who's a dual threat at the defensive end position, I mean, you're just on skates. It does something to a defense that.
Well, and he also has some trucks when it comes to an offensive lineman that are just moving
some
weight.
Tanks out there.
I mean, they are, like you said, moving someone at their will.
Yeah,
or, like
against
you said,
their will. Big guys moving big guys against their will.
That's exactly, his line just opened up so much for him. I think he ran for 10 times for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Dare we pitch, hey, Clay Battelle, that beefcake formation?
Well,
I
mean, it could work. They got 2 running backs that also can pound the ball too, and they both found an end zone. Clay Battelle looks really good right now, and I think that they're just going to keep getting better each week still.
Coming up in week 7, let's go ahead and get to the big one. Morgantown High traveling to Martinsburg. That is, by the current rankings, 1 versus 8, although the rankings come out a little bit later today. And we expect Martinsburg to kind of continue to creep up. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're actually they're in the top 3 for a lot of people's power rankings.
Sure.
People that are kind of on the outside, social media people, stuff like that. I think even Metro News has them up there, number 3 this week. So in the power rankings. So yeah, I mean, they're never a team. They could be 0-9 going into week 10, and we'd still have to prepare for them just as hard as we do anybody else, right?
Martinsburg is the dynasty right now in the state, and I'm going to give you guys a little research here. I want to give you some results here.
Okay.
So Martinsburg is 4-2. They started the season 0-2. Of course, they lost to the one team,
the New York Jets from
Jersey.
Camden, Jersey, yeah.
And then they lost a 22-20 game to Huntington. So since then, they have won 4 in a row. The average score of those 4 wins, 58.8 to 9 points. So basically 59 to 10.
Wow.
They've been beating teams since going 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great stat too.
And now Morgantown High's got to go to Martinsburg and face that.
Yeah, this is going to be the biggest test of the season for sure.
The thing with these Morgantown High teams, when they have such high-powered offense, it's weird, but the legend brought this up earlier. The defense kind of goes under the radar. That defense is going to need to show up. We talk about the weapons, the multiple weapons, and it's great to see. But this defense, I think it needs to show up, and I think it will show up. Defense tends to travel well.
And the defense is complete this year too. I mean, you have the line can get in the backfield. The linebackers, they can cover the pass and they can stop the run. But then their secondary are all very talented, very quick, very good in coverage. One-on-one or in zone coverage. They all have good hands. So
they seem to fly to the ball.
They do, yeah. They're all really quick. So you're right. That defense, all levels brings something that an offense can be scared of for sure.
It's going to have to show up, though. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. They're going to have to play their best game of the year for sure.
Michael, the big question will be Morgantown's health, right? I mean, if you're going to walk into Martinsburg and you don't have Isaiah Thompson in your backfield and you don't have Twig at 100%, doesn't really matter what your defense does, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I heard a coach actually say this past week from Morgantown High, if you're not playing hurt at this point of the season, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. So, I think that they're prepared. They're ready. I think it was kind of the same thing last week going into Wheeling Park. You're banged up. Yep. They're banged up. Next man up, like Matt says every week, So they'll be ready to go. They're on a mission this year, I think, over there on Wilson Avenue. So.
Yes, sir.
I'm really interested on your take, just to kind of go back to this Wheeling Park game real quick. And like you said, Morgantown High, they played with some reserves coming in and coming up big. WAC not playing for Wheeling Park. I know that probably disappointed a lot of people. They kind of wanted to see this kid who got built up, and he's coming into Mon County, and then of course he's in jersey and shorts on the sidelines. If he didn't play last week, if he doesn't play this week, does that hurt his chances for the Kennedy, or is he still considered the best player in the state?
Well, you definitely would consider him still the best player in the state as far as talent-wise. But it would be tough. I think they still have their bye week ahead of them, so there would be a third week he would be out too. Obviously, that's scheduled, but it would be tough. I mean, especially it would also depend on some of the performances from other players. I mean, we see breakout performances from people every week. So, yeah, I mean, if Maddox Twig goes into Martinsburg and plays well and gets a W and brings it back home, and Brennan Wax sits out again, you got to think that would change the tide a little bit, right? So yeah, I mean, he absolutely will. I'm sure he won't miss a step when he comes back and finally hits the field again, and Wheeling Park will welcome him with open arms, I'm sure. So
that's a 7 p.m. Start on Friday for Morgantown and Martinsburg over in the Eastern Panhandle. Other Friday games coming up this week. Clay Patel, as we mentioned, will travel to Richwood, which basically means the CBs are going to travel south to Summersville and hang a big left out into the middle of the mountains.
Watch those speed traps.
Mm-hmm.
Watch those speed traps.
University High will try to rebound, and they'll host Connellsville, Pennsylvania on Friday night. That's a 7 o'clock start as well. Connellsville is 1-6 on the season. They have lost 6 in a row. That includes a 48-21 loss against Morgantown High a few weeks ago. And Preston is on a bye week. Is that correct?
Yeah, much needed bye week for Preston. Showed some good flashes the Knights have for the past few weeks, and they're kind of getting a little bit of a groove going. So we'll see what will happen out of their bye week.
All right, so the big one, predictions. If Morgantown can go into Martinsburg and beat the Bulldogs, what does that say for Class Quad A and Morgantown High's place in it?
I think it solidifies their spot at the top. I mean, they've been number one for a few weeks now, and coming in, they were expected to be talented, be a good team, but this is what you have to do. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right?
Well said.
Is that the Ric Flair?
Woo!
Yeah, okay.
2 claps and a Ric Flair there. So yeah, I mean, not only will it do wonders for Maddox Twiggs Kennedy prospect, but it will do wonders for the Morgantown High School football team's spot when it comes to, their quad A place right now.
Well, see, here's the thing. So Martinsburg's kind of been on top for a while.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Decade or so. Before that, it was Morgantown High, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so now you have maybe this story developing of, the old dog rising from the ashes, maybe?
Yeah, like the Dark Phoenix rising from the ashes. Are we going to give a prediction here? Am I allowed to give a prediction?
Sure.
I'd like to give a prediction. I'm saying Morgantown wins this 21-7. 21-7. I believe in that defense.
Going on the road.
I believe in Maddox on the road. 21-7. Hot take. I'll take a look.
That is pretty hot.
You come back from COVID fine.
I did have. We better check my temperature. It might still be a little bit of a fever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, if I'm way wrong, I'm saying, guys, I was a little bit loopy, still not feeling well, but 21-7. I'm saying it with my chest out right now.
Michael, what do you say? Does the old king get the new king here, or what?
Yeah, old guard versus the new. It's kind of tough. 21-7 is bold. I think
That's
Martinsburg can score a little more. Like Justin just finished saying, Connellsville did put up 21 points on the Morgantown defense
In one half.
So, this is a really hard one. I think it'll come down to one of the last possessions. You know, maybe whoever has the ball last. So, you know, maybe a late field goal from Clifton Shreves, Morgantown's kicker. He's really talented too. So, I'm gonna go. I think Martinsburg's offense will score a little more. I'm gonna go 20-17. Morgantown High on a late possession game.
Man.
I'm gonna say MHS wins.
Well, you gonna give us a score, man?
I'm just saying MHS.
Okay. I see what you. Wait a minute.
You know.
Now I'm no math astrologist here, but aren't they both MHS?
Well, that's my point.
You win this round, man.
Michael, we appreciate the time, and thank you so much for the knowledge. We'll see you back here next week, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have just as much, if not more, to talk about this time next week for sure.
Hey, we appreciate you, legend.
And that's all the time we have for this week. We want to thank both Michael Griffith and Rich Stevens for joining us today. We plan on having Spencer Ripchick back in here next week as West Virginia gets back into the swing of things. They're on the bye week this week, but next week they'll be traveling to Orlando, Disney World, go see UCF.
Epcot.
So next week we'll have Spencer back in here. For now, Matt, it's time to pay some bills.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, and a special thanks to the Erickson Alumni Center for supporting the show. Select a wedding venue where you can host the perfect ceremony and reception while providing your guests with a caring and comfortable environment. Lastly, this is the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, where couches are safe, but the takes are on fire. Thank you for joining us. Can't wait to see you next week.